What has been the most positive aspect or impact of art or being an artist in your life? Where would you place yourself on that scale?
So the severe ones are like schizophrenia and things like that. Like you're hearing voices.
How dark, if you're willing to share,
Mm-hmm.
how dark have your darkest moments been?
I
Welcome to the show. Tell us very quickly, who are you and what do you do?
I am Bex Nichols, and I am an abstract expressionist artist.
An abstract expressionist artist. Before we dive into abstract expressionism, there's a term that I found on your website. You say that you are a maximalist abstract expressionism.
Mhm.
What does the maximalist mean?
So it means rather than minimalism, it's
Yeah.
the opposite. Like it's big patterns, it's bold colors, it's yes.
For example,
Yes.
the first question that I want to ask you is, what has been the most positive aspect or impact of art or being an artist in your life?
I think the first time I sold something, like there's something very legitimizing about like somebody actually wanting to buy your art. And when you're starting out, like I don't know about anybody else, but I would get the anxiety of they're going to change their mind and want to like just give it back because
That's a part of the journey of being an artist. Would you consider yourself also a highly sensitive person? Most artists are very sensitive people, to the point where sometimes they become what's called empaths. Highly sensitive, INFJ, character type, Myers-Briggs. I sense you're a highly sensitive person. Would you put yourself, are you highly empathetic?
yes,
Would you consider yourself heightened empathy as an empath?
yes, yes.
So as an artist, as an empath, you've got these two worlds that magnify your sensitivity, your self-awareness, your emotional intelligence. What have been the struggles of being an empath for you?
People just not respecting your boundaries. As an empath, people are you're high energy. People are drawn to you. Animals are drawn to you. Like babies stare at you.
Yes.
But because people are drawn to you so strongly, they feel like they meet you. They have to tell you their life story in 5 minutes in the grocery store, or if they're closer to you or view themselves as closer to you, they think that they can always come to you and drop all of their stuff on you, and it's a lot because like we as creatives have so much going on in our heads, in our lives. Like my brain never stops working. Like it's always going. Like I wear myself out just thinking. So like I can't handle anybody else's.
It is very tough being empathetic, and I think the challenge is we care for people. We want to listen.
Yes.
We want to be there for them, but there's a limit. We can only take so much, and people often don't understand that when we place that boundary,
Right.
whether it's very gentle or whether it's abrupt, they have just taken for granted that, well, I can rely on you, I can just share and I can just dump on you. So how do you set boundaries?
This is like a big thing. Like people, you give a little and people will just take and suck you dry. Can I say suck?
In this context, absolutely.
And just drain you. But I have dealt with people who want to come in here. They want things from me. Yeah. And I have said, no, I'm not doing that anymore. They push further. And I say, please respect my boundaries. Yeah. I don't feel comfortable with that. Yeah. And if they still choose to ignore it and push, then I just can't even speak to them anymore.
It's a very sad but healthy, inevitable consequence. I have given you my boundary. I've told you nicely.
Yeah.
I've been gentle. Now I'm being firm. And now I'm going to get pissed off.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate that sometimes we have to go down that path for people to respect us.
Yeah.
In particular, the narcissist. I'm sure you've met your fair share of narcissists in your life.
More and more.
Yes.
As we go on and as you set more boundaries, they really come out. And I'm I'm on the daily struggle of just trying to survive, and I don't need my battery drained by these people that think that they're the only things that exist and whatever they're doing is more important than anything else. I don't care. I have my own things to do every day. I have to get through every day. Like,
But this
and
is the
it's
challenge, though. Deep down,
Mhm.
subconsciously, we do care. We can logically tell ourselves, "I don't care," but our innate thing is, "I'm compelled. I do care."
Right.
Logically, I can't care.
right.
Right?
Logically, you can't
Yeah.
care. You can't care.
Yeah, I know it's really.
I can't care. I have so much. I have so much to do, and it never ends. I am. When you own a business, you are every department possible. You
That's right.
can't deal with outside crap.
That is going to be my new empath mantra. I can't care. I do care, but I can't
Yes.
care. I can't care right now.
Yeah.
That was a great share. That was a beautiful little segue that I think was important as a part of the journey of the HSP, the INFJ, the creative mind, the highly intelligent, the neurodivergent. I consider artists as neurodivergent. We think differently, we process life differently. Has that been your experience? Do you feel like you completely fit into society? And if not, what coping mechanisms have you had to adapt to find a way to exist in a world that doesn't always understand the artist?
So no. I've never been normal in my life. I've never fit in. I've always struggled, and at some point I gave up. And I just feel like this is who I am, and if people don't like who you are or are willing to accept who you are, then they don't belong in your life.
Ooh, it's cold, it's profound, it's very true. So at what point along your human journey, your artist journey, did you come to this realization that I am different?
Oh, a very long time ago, just as a person, but as an artist, um, I don't think I started out trying to do like when you're trying to find yourself and you try different styles and you're like, okay, I'm going to do flowers or things like that. The sinewy, which is what I call it because it's muscular in structure, came from a play that we did, and I did columns that I created for this play, and they looked like they were melting because it was set in hell, and they also looked muscular in structure. So that's where the sinewy comes from. But when I started doing that, it really became clear like this is something unlike anything else. And like they all have a life of their own, and you feel the movement. And there are people that come in and they just can stare at these pieces forever.
Yeah.
And I know I'm doing something different. Besides everybody telling me I'm doing something different, and I've never seen anything like it before. But that was so I started doing that. I think it was 2016 maybe when we did the play, and then it just snowballed from there.
So you mentioned something very important. I think you said the challenge or the struggle to try and be different, to be unique, to create your own unique thing. In this world now of social media, mass marketing, everything has become relatively homogenized, and differentiation is becoming such a challenge. With what you've just said, is that important to you? How have you, there's the balance between I want to be different organically because this is my journey, this is my message, these are my emotions, but also on a business entrepreneurial level, how do I differentiate? Do you find the balance between the two? How do you make that happen?
So where the problem lies is that I'm so different that there's no way to market my work. So like social media, like website, like anything out on the web, I'm just impossible to find because nobody knows what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Or how to look for. How do you find something that you don't know?
It's a great question.
Exists.
You either need a lot of money to put yourself out there to educate the crowd, or you just have to be incredibly diligent, which most artists have to be just incredibly diligent. So with that level of frustration, pain level, it's got to be highly disappointing. I know as artists in general, rejection is a part of the journey. So how do you manage the rejection, the alienation, the maybe being misunderstood without losing yourself?
I think, I mean, we have First Fridays, which very young crowd that don't necessarily understand art will come in and they'll look at price tags and they'll laugh, and they'll look at pieces and they'll laugh, and like you kind of just brush it off. Having my own storefront, me and Jem's storefront here, like it really helps to get the art in front of people.
Just to put context, we are now on location in a place called the Arts Factory in downtown Las Vegas. This happens to be her personalized private studio storefront, just to give context in Vegas. So
this is where people can see it up front and get the actual effect, as opposed to finding me online. So thankfully, we're in Vegas, where we get people from all over the world to come in and see work. But yeah, it's so crazy the way that one bad person can come in and ruin your entire week because it's not a positive response, because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And I think that's I was watching a Pollock documentary last night. Jackson Pollock. And, you know, people just don't understand expressionist art because it's not what they're used to seeing.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like a breakthrough of like, they don't understand it because it's not normalized to them. It's not something that they recognize. So like it's harder, but
I love Jackson Pollock, and I love that era of I also consider myself an abstract expressionist, and the answer that I've discovered through research is, when it comes to abstract expressionism, it's not about trying to understand it. It's about simply, what does it make you feel?
Mm-hmm.
And just go down that path.
Yes.
How do you feel about this piece?
And that is the response that always brings me back and makes me so happy, because people will walk in and they, no matter the piece, will just be like, this is so beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing your work for the first time. It's hypnotic, it's mesmerizing. It just sort of draws you in, and I watch you work. You have this very meticulous, patient style. It's almost a form of meditation, therapy.
It is. It absolutely is.
Tell us a little bit more about that for you.
So it's funny, growing up, I wasn't allowed to have paint or anything.
Oh.
Yeah. So like finally when I was 16, I got my first paint set and like kind of immediately did something similar to this. Like I immediately started with shading and things. There's something about painting that just like, it clears your mind. You're working from the subconscious. Yeah. It is so meditative, and you are so outside of yourself. You're just, it's your subconscious taking over and pushing out like any like.
I completely relate to what you're saying. I personally think that art is the consummate form of meditation, therapy. It brings in, to the point you just made, it's a combination of the spiritual, whatever your spiritual preferences are, but it's completely spiritual. It's intellectual, it's emotional, it's the subconscious. They all converge. And I'm sure you experience this when you're in a piece. Time almost disappears.
Yes.
The noise of life disappears, and there's a place of peace, calm, clarity.
Yes. Especially when working on this piece. This took 105 hours.
You're insane.
I'm here. I'm here 6 hours a day typically, but this did take like 11, 12-hour days. But I mean, the time would just fly by so quickly. And before I knew it, it was time to go. But yeah, it just, when you're in the zone, you are in the zone.
Yeah, I totally relate. And I recommend anybody, if you haven't explored the arts, give it a try. It is the ultimate form of therapy. You'll find peace and calm. We talked about Jackson Pollock. You brought up Jackson Pollock. and he was known for having a lot of artists, Van Gogh, mental illness. It's almost a part of the journey that a lot of artists experience some level of mental health challenges. Have you experienced that? Has that also been a part of your journey?
Yes. So at 16, I was diagnosed with bipolar.
Can you quickly give us what is, I kind of know what bipolar means, but give us the sort of simple version that we can understand what that means.
Yeah, so you can go from like extreme highs to extreme lows, can't get out of bed, like, and then when you're in extreme high, you can like just never stop working, never stop cleaning, like just go, 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 which is kind of great, but then you crash and it's 10 times worse.
So then how do you manage that on a daily basis? You mentioned there are days when you simply can't get out of bed, but if you want to be an artist, there's a level of professionalism, a level of commitment. What do you need? What does Bex need to do to overcome those days? But I've got to get in. I've got a meeting with a client. I've got to get out of bed. How do you?
I think a big part of it might be the anxiety of like letting people down then if I can't come in. But I'm always working on a new piece. Yeah. And that like getting to where like it needs to be and like getting it done and like the anticipation of what it's going to turn out to be keeps me going.
Keeps you going.
Yeah.
What are the side effects of the social impacts, the personal, private impacts of mental health challenges for yourself, relationships, those in your inner circle? What do people need to know? You're married. Mm-hmm. Your husband's an actor. He's in theater. He's probably highly empathetic in some capacity, but he has to understand and deal with your challenges.
Yes.
What do people need to know about mental health to enable healthy relationships with people with those challenges?
He's just very calm and understanding.
It's that simple.
Yeah, he's very calm and understanding. He knows that when I am just pissed off beyond belief because...
Can we say pissed off? Can we say that on this podcast? Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. It can get worse than pissed off. That I'm just so stupid having an episode. And it sounds like an excuse then that like if I'm just being shitty and like out of control that it's an episode, but like anything can set me off.
So while you're having an episode, you're obviously caught up in whatever that mental state is. Is there a party that in the moment, I'm aware I'm having an episode, I know that I'm acting like a fill in the expletive. Does that help you snap out of it, or do you just have to ride that wave?
You have to ride the wave. You have the understanding in you that you are like not, you're not doing well. What you're doing is wrong, but it's not like that's going to snap you out of it. You have to ride the wave. It's not cured, it's not like poof, better. It can't poof better as quickly as it can poof on.
Do you feel it coming on? Is it a trigger that happens instantaneously? Are there certain things that you have to avoid because this environment, these people, this topic, it's just... So literally, while we are now doing this podcast, something you could be triggered and suddenly your mood could change. Is that how it happens?
Yes, but not,
it's not that dramatic.
No.
Okay.
Not like a subtle thing. It's like, I'll get mad at him over really stupid things and overly mad at him because like he got the wrong product at the grocery store.
Isn't that just
and it will just set me off and ruin my everything. But
so the one thing becomes magnified and impacts everything else.
Yes. Yeah.
So I did some research about mental health. Some of the statistics are quite fascinating. This comes from the National Institute of Mental Health, NIMH. This is a survey they did in 2022. More than 1 in 5 US citizens live with mental health. That is approximately 59.3 million people in the United States struggle with mental health. Then they break it down into 2 categories. Any mental illness, which is sort of the less extreme.
Right.
Emotional disorders can impact ranging things from impairment to mild, moderate, and even severe impairment. And then they have serious mental illness, defined as mental disorders resulting in serious functional impairment. where would you place yourself on that scale?
So the severe ones are like schizophrenia and things like that. Like you're hearing voices, which this can turn into.
Right now, we're not hearing voices; we're hearing music in the background. Are
Yes.
you hearing that,
Yes,
or is it okay?
That's the bookstore next
We're
door.
both on the same page. So schizophrenia is one of the extreme ones.
Yes.
Where does bipolar? Is that on a
Probably
scale?
like up. It depends. There's different levels of bipolar. So like there are like, I think there's bipolar A and B. Like
Okay.
there's different levels, different extremes. And then each person, it's different too. Like you can be manic, you can not sleep for 10 days or a month or whatever just because you can't, because you're so manic. You can't get out of bed like at all. You're just always crying. Like it depends on the severity. So probably mid to mid upper, probably 7.
A 7. 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
So how dark, if you're willing to share, how dark have your darkest moments been?
I have wanted to kill myself since I was 10 years old.
When I've heard that comment, and I relate, by the way, I've been down that path. I know what that feels like. Is it a question of I don't want to live, or is it a question of I want to die? They're not the same.
I don't want to live.
You don't want to live because
I feel like a burden on everybody because of how I am. Life has not been easy on various levels. So like I don't know. Like everything's just such a struggle that like I'm so tired and I'm so done and it just does not get better.
I completely relate, and I think a lot of people will relate to that exhaustion because people underestimate that sometimes just getting out of bed is this whole mental gymnastics just to get out of bed, just to stretch a canvas. You know, you just don't want to do anything. Have you been able to develop tools, action steps to help? I'll give you one example. I've been through depression. I know what it's like. I've been to the darkest of darks, and in a part of my recovery, I would have to sort of gauge and set very clear goals. My goal today is I'm just going to get out of bed and walk my dog. That's all I'm going to do, and that was a great day. In the grand scheme of life, it's not a great day, but for me, that was a huge achievement, and that's how I managed it. What have sort of been your action steps to help you navigate?
The one thing that I achieve, no matter what, is just to come in here. And whether I sit on the computer all day and play Sims, which is
you do, yeah.
Which some days I can't even paint. I can't like bear the thought of painting, which is probably the best thing for me to do is to paint. But I'll just sit here and play Sims because I can't even paint.
But at least you're doing something.
I made it here.
Yeah. So yes, so for example, on a day like today, I'm assuming you got out, let's be cliche, you got out on the good side of the bed. You said you have the conflict of, but I have this obligation to people and then I feel guilty, which is my motivation. So had today been, I didn't even ask you if today was a good day or a bad day, but there's a great level of discipline that you've had to develop. Can you share some of that journey of how you develop this discipline where I don't want to get out of bed, but I owe it to these people? How do you do that?
I don't know. It's really, it's a struggle. It's just forcing yourself. It's kind of like being out in public and like being at a party and like forcing yourself to be with the people, which is the most draining thing you could imagine. So I think my battery's just always low. Just forcing myself to be here. And, you know, if I'm not here, people can't see the art.
Having this gallery, has that helped you along your journey? Because now you've got a sense of purpose, you've got that obligation, you've got this structure.
Yeah, I mean, sitting in my living room, painting in the corner was not doing me any good. I mean, it was doing me good
but not to the extent of
therapeutically.
Yeah.
But sitting in your living room working isn't getting you out and people seeing your work. Like, it's not. You have to you have to get out and kind of show yourself.
I want to switch gear a little bit. I want to, right?
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about your process. I've experienced your work. This is one aspect of your work, but you also have this weird, quirky, beautiful, insane, unique thing. You use records, vinyl. I'm old school. I love a good old 12-inch record. Tell us about that.
So it's so funny. I had done a piece that was the back of a broken guitar that I painted, and I stapled it to a wood panel, contrasting colors. So the guitar was like in reds and yellows, and then the background was cool tones, so it was blue and purple and teal. And I stapled it to the wood panel. I had a couple come in, and they said, "We love this, but neither of us play guitar. One of us is a DJ. Can you do something with records?" And I was like, yes, I've been wanting to do something with records. So I did 3 pieces for them, all the contrasting colors, same color palette. And I didn't want to just like throw a record on the panel. So I was like, hey, do you guys like, I have 2 ideas. Like, I can just throw a record on the pen or I can break them. And they're like, you're the artist, do what you want.
Yeah.
Like, cool, I'm going to break them. And then I was like, well, I can't just break them and throw them on there. So I was like, I think I'll connect them with like twine.
Yeah.
So it became broken records held on to the wood panel with twine of contrasting colors. And then it's just exploded from there. It's constantly evolving.
Is music a big part of your journey?
Huge.
Why?
I grew up, my mom was, all of her close friends were always in bands. Like, my uncle was in a band, my stepdad was in a band. So like, I grew up always with band practices, like totally surrounded by music, totally surrounded by musical people. I've learned to read by reading sheet music. And my mom had this guitar book that was like the Eagles complete collection. And so like I would look at the words.
Who are the Eagles? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I would look at the words and like I already knew the songs because like I was always able to memorize lyrics like so easily. But so I like learned how to read by like having the music in my head and like following the words.
Wow, that's quite impressive. I've tried to learn how to read music. I can do the basics. I recently bought a keyboard just to kind of play, one finger things, but it's a part of the creative journey. It's another creative outlet. You've got a lot of things. I mean, you've got this beautiful studio. Where would you like to be? It's a sort of a cliche business question. 5 years from now, what's the Beck's story?
It's so strange because to me, like I have ideas and stuff of like, okay, where I should be like as an artist and like growth and stuff. And then like what I really just want to do is paint. And if that leads other directions by whatever comes to me, then cool. But I mean, that's all I want to do. And I don't know what the next level is. Like, I'm just...
Is it just an organic journey?
Mm-hmm.
Life will take
I am like totally on the constant ride the wave movement because you can't plan.
Did you choose to be an artist or did art choose you?
I think art chose me. Yeah. I wasn't able to like work with people anymore, trust people. Like it really became crippling in a way to like do the daily grind of work and things that were just miserable and never stopping, and my brain never stopped. Like I couldn't, like, I'd get home and stress out over everything that I had to do the next day, and just it was a horrible hamster wheel of like stress and just I couldn't do it.
So again, full circle, the stress,
Mm-hmm.
the dysfunction of life, you get into a piece of work, quiet.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I wish that more people would understand the value of art, that people would partake in it more, not with the objective of creating beauty and aesthetics,
No.
just the expression, the release,
Mm-hmm.
the connecting to the self. I've learned through being an artist, I've learned about myself. I understand who I am. I understand what's important to me, what my emotional triggers are. It really is a journey of self-revelation. Do you think that art should be promoted more as a tool for therapy, for
Yes.
healing,
Yes.
for community?
Yes. Me and my friend upstairs have discussed what if we start bringing in like homeless people and do like just a sit down, here's a canvas, here's a brush, go. Like it's not a class. Just go. The release that you feel of like you don't have to be told what to paint.
Yes.
Like just go. Like get it out. And it's so healing. Like so to do something like that would I think be really beneficial to a lot of these people that don't get help with their mental health. And it's simple. It's a really simple idea, but I think it would actually help them a lot.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I hope that you're able to bring it to fruition, and it will be interesting, whether it's a social experiment or it's just a labor of love. I would love to see the impact, because I'm like you, I'm convinced it would have a positive impact
Yes.
on these people. And also it removes the sense of them being invisible. You have seen them as a human, you've given them a tool, and then at the end of the journey, they've actually created something.
Yes.
And I think in life, it's either we create or we destroy.
Right.
I love that. What's next for you? I think I'm going to read it off here. I did some research. You have been recently accepted into the Upcycle Art Show.
Yes.
Congratulations. Tell us about that.
Thank you. I've had an idea rolling around in my head for a while about making a sculpture out of the records. Trying to like mull over how to do it, but I think I finally got it. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing a record sculpture for that show. So I'm back to the records for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Where can people find, for example, these here are some miniatures, absolutely delightful, and you
Yes.
create the box, the frame yourself, and then you stretch the canvas.
Yes. So these are, I started a long time ago creating miniature 4x4s and 6x6s as companion pieces for the larger pieces, because I like to have something for everybody. So if someone can't take home a larger piece, they can take home a little bit.
So there's some entrepreneurship right there. Where can people find you?
Vivid Gallery inside the Arts Factory, www.bexnicholsfineart.com, at Bexart.
At Bexart, B-E-X.
Yes, B-E-X-A-R-T on Instagram.
All the links will be down below the descriptions. If you are struggling with any form of mental health, please consider taking some art as a part of the therapy. You've heard it here from somebody who's traveled the journey. Myself too, I've experienced the journey. It is one of those magnificent, underrated tools of healing and recovery. And if you want to do a deeper dive, there are some links below that will share some additional information. Bex, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bex, what an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your courage, your vulnerability, your honesty, and for saying piss off.
Yes. It's mild for me.